NTA is directed to clarify on the basis of the material which is in its possession as of date on the following issues. Bracket 1. When the leak of the question papers has first taken place. 2. The manner in which the question papers were leaked or disseminated. Semicolon. Bracket 3. The duration between the time duration between the occurrence of the leak and the actual conduct of the examination, which took place at 2 p.m. between 2 p.m. and 5:20 p.m. on 5 May 2024. The second, while making the full stop, on the above aspect, we are also of the view that since the investigation has been entrusted to the CBI, the status report should be filed by the investigating officer before this court, indicating the status of indicating
Patna. Only that's a core.
The status of the investigation up to date and the material which has come to light during the course of the investigation. One may when the leak was first noticed. The investigating officer shall, in particular, indicate to this court, shall place before this court material which has been gathered during the course of the investigation, which would have a bearing on when the leak is alleged to have first taken place, in the modalities in which the leaked question papers were made available. Stop. On the second perspective, the second aspect on which we NTA shall make a disclosure before this court is in regard to the steps which have been taken so far for identification of the beneficiaries of the leak. In this regard, the court will be apprised inter alia of the following. Bracket 1. How many students, what were the steps which were taken by NTA to identify the centers / cities at which the leak took place, 2. The modalities followed for identifying the beneficiaries of the leak, and 3. The number of students who have so far been identified to be the beneficiaries of the leaked question papers. Likewise, the investigating officers
may say NTA stroke authority, because identification may not be within our.
All right. The above information, I'll clarify while editing. I'll put it so that it will be more the Ministry of Home Affairs or some other one.
Not the leak will be at one place. At how many centers the leak paper has been made available? Because the leak will be in the entire system at one place.
No. We have said that dissemination also. We have said. The investigating officer shall also submit a status report bearing on the above aspects.
Yes.
Well, it's one point.
Third, the third aspect on which it is necessary to have a further disclosure by the union government as well as by NTA. We'll say union government and NTA. Is whether it is possible by the union government and NTA is whether it would be is on whether uh,
Technically feasible.
yeah, whether it would be feasible, using using data analytics either within the cyber forensic unit or any other expert agencies within or which may be employed by the government to identify cases where suspect cases would stop. For instance, these cases may involve full stop. This may be if this is possible, the authorities shall identify before the court identify the modalities which can be followed so as to segregate the tainted from the untainted students. Next. The third aspect on which we would require a disclosure is in regard to the modalities to be followed between the conclusion of the examination, including the retest which was held for 1563 students, and the actual commencement of the counseling process. Full stop. If an exercise is to be conducted by the NTA and by the union government so as to reduce any further beneficiaries of the question paper leakage, a considered decision at the policy level would have to be taken by the government on whether counseling could be allowed to proceed in the meantime or otherwise.
It may not say that.
On the status of the counselor. Fourthly, the court is concerned about the steps which should be taken hereafter to ensure the sanctity of the national eligibility cum entrance test, so that such instances which have transpired during the course of the present session are not repeated in the future. In this regard, just 1 second, please. In this regard, it would be necessary for the government to consider setting up a multidisciplinary team consisting of renowned experts who command the wider confidence of the community to ensure that due measures are being taken to obviate any further breaches in the NEET in the future. Full stop. If a committee has already been set up by the government for deducing the steps to be taken for the future, full details shall be made available to the court. Full stop. The court may then consider whether the committee which has been constituted by the government should be allowed to proceed as it is, whether the composition of the committee should be
Modified. Enhanced.
It is only
Should be
possible.
sufficiently enhanced to
It
bring
may not be there.
so as to bring together a pool of talent from diverse fields bearing not only on administration but also on domain expertise and data analytics.
So, Lords, I have only one sanction.
Learned Solicitor General and Mr. Kaushik, Learned Senior Counsel Solicitor General appearing for the Union of India, and Mr. Kaushik, Learned Senior Counsel appearing for the NTA, have requested the court to place the further hearing on Thursday ka date so as to enable them to make their to file the material in pursuance of the above queries by 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Full stop. The affidavit shall be shared with counsel appearing on behalf of the petitioners simultaneously. The report of the investigating officer of the CBI shall also be placed on the record in the meantime.
May I only be permitted to say one aspect?
I'll tell you why. Let there be the reason why we are asking for this disclosure. whatever view we ultimately take, let there be confidence in the community that,
Absolutely.
you know, that,
We are very.
Lord, I have only one subject.
Share your lordship's views.
Allowed, man.
The entire.
Lord, can I make one?
May I request that the copy will be served to us as well? A copy will
in
serve.
view of the large number of counsel who are appearing on the side of the petitioners, we have requested that, it has been agreed, who will be the nodal counsel?
Whosoever filed.
Huh?
Whomsoever, Lord. Mr. Suvik Sharma, my Lord, who is.
Independently sometime.
All right. Shall act as nodal counsel. All the counsel for the petitioners who are desirous of pressing their submission for a retest shall file a common set of submissions not exceeding 10 pages by before the hearing takes place on Thursday, Kartik.
My lords, kindly allow the improvement application, my lord.
The petitioner on this side, my Lord, can it be also be?
Time of loss, my lord.
On this side, because there's a fact that.
You are being supported by these.
I appreciate, but I also want to get out the fact that happened in our case in Gujarat. Here, all cases where they
Why
were.
don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Give us a short one-page note. That will be more.
Very.
And as wherever your lordships have said petitioners, there are transfer petitions where we are essentially respondents.
And this is beyond the leak, my Lord. Beyond the leak also.
Yes, my lord, there is also a
They have changed the answer also. Allah, they have changed answer of one question and allotted the number, my lord.
yes, my lord. In fact, it's happened in my case also, wherein there are 3 answers. When it's
Mr. Solicitor, we have not specifically in our order included the red flags. If you can just
have understood.
right. So I deliberately didn't put it into our order, but you can just see whether there are some cases like that which you can identify. See, so that then